Good morning, it's Corrine. This morning I think I want to talk a little bit about FE and the extroverted feeling and maybe touch a little bit on NI and the introverted intuition. And also really talk about how we lack understanding of our own emotions because we're so concentrated on other people's emotions and we seem to know those really, really well, which I think is the whole FE. Yet I just had a situation where it took me like 2 days to figure out what I personally was feeling. So I think it's interesting. I mean, one thing that's very common for me as an INFJ, and probably is pretty common for INFPs, I'm guessing as well, actually, is that a lot of people feel comfortable in my presence and like opening up to me. For example, just yesterday, I had a Windows salesperson come to my house because I probably need some new windows and I wanted to find out how much they cost. And while we were going over it, he started telling me about his life, and I was, and when that happens, I get pretty calm and peaceful and kind of lean in a little bit and listen. And before I know it, he's like telling me his whole life story and everything. And I could tell he was feeling better after he was talking to me because I was really just kind of holding this air of calm and understanding, and I think he felt better afterwards. And it's funny, I had just met him, and that tends to happen, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's actually good. I think that's a good use of the FE. And even though INFPs don't have FE, I think they experience that a lot too because they are gentle souls and they do understand and people feel comfortable with them. So I think that's an okay, because usually when that happens, when people open up to me like that, and I have that happen at work a lot as well, is I actually feel better because I made someone else feel better. And as their emotions get more calm, I get more calm, and it's actually okay. It's a win-win situation. I think where FE can be difficult is when we kind of become codependent on it because we're spending so much time and so much energy trying to make life better for that other person in order to make them happy that we completely lose ourselves. We completely drain ourselves of energy and of ourself because we don't even know ourselves if we put ourselves out there too much. And so one of the situations I just had happen, which really upset me, was that I made some arrangements for my teenage daughter. I have a 17-year-old daughter, and she's looking at colleges, and I made some arrangements at the college that I went to so that she could have an interview and stay in the dorms and look at it. And I realized that she may not want to go there, but I just thought, well, it's just an option and I'll help her out with that. And, if she doesn't want to go there, fine, because I really, really do realize and understand that she's her own person and she should make her own choices. And when I made this appointment, she seemed to be fine with it. And just yesterday, I, reminded her of it. And she says, no. I'm not going at all. I'm gonna work, and I have stuff going on for school, and I'm not gonna go. And I got just really, I don't know. I didn't know what I was feeling, but I got really, really upset. I got really upset, and the funny thing was, I didn't really know initially why I was upset. Like I understand her thought process. I understood. She wants to be her own person. She has a very different personality type from me. She's an ESFP, very outgoing, very comfortable in the real world. And I know she wanted something different from me, and that wasn't the problem. I was okay with all that. And initially, what I thought was the problem was that I had gone way out of my way. I had drained myself. I had done all this work. I had probably spent, a lot of time making phone calls, setting stuff up, and that she didn't appreciate it at all, and I felt drained of self, I suppose. And that was what I initially thought was a problem, and my husband noticed there was something wrong. My younger daughter noticed there was something wrong. My husband's an INFP. My younger daughter's INFJ as well. She did actually test as that. And so, they would notice. My older daughter doesn't notice other people being upset quite as much, or doesn't care. And not that she's a bad person, it's just, I think, really her personality. I mean, she is nice to people, she certainly has a lot of friends and everything, but she has this ability to be very blunt. And so when I told my husband what I was upset about, I mean, initially it came out that it was because I had done all this effort and it was just thrown away. And even though I completely logically understand, why she wants to make her own choices and do her own thing. And I woke up this morning and I realized I was still upset about this. And when I was driving back from taking my younger daughter to school, it hit me. Really, I got that flash of insight of what it really, really was. It wasn't because I had spent all that time and felt unappreciated. I think what it really, really was that I wanted a nice weekend with my daughter. I wanted to spend time with her. I wanted to go, to this old college that I used to go to, and, have a nice ride there. And, I was going to bring my younger daughter as well, so just have a nice time with my daughters, and at the same time just sort of introduce her to a college, introduce her to what she might have her practice with an interview or something. And I realized, it was really, that's what it was. Because the moment that I realized what it was, I got that emotional button push and I started to well up and get kind of teary. And when that happens, when I get that emotional response, that's when I know what the truth is. That's when I know the truth of how I really, really feel. And then I thought, okay, that's it. But I just find it so interesting because I knew exactly how my daughter felt. I knew she felt I was getting a little controlling. I knew she wanted to be her own self and assert her own independence, which is completely natural and normal for any teenager and kind of necessary, actually, to become an adult. Although that really wasn't what I was trying to do. I was just wanted to have a good relationship. I guess I missed her because she's so much at this point with her friends, and I really just wanted to spend time with her. Unfortunately, I guess I couldn't communicate that very well, and I'm expecting she won't change her mind, and she probably won't go. And so now I'm trying to shift gears and to just think about spending a nice time with my younger daughter there, because it's also the 25th anniversary for my graduation. So I'm going to have friends there, and that'll be okay. So I mean, there's still a reason to go. It's not like the purpose has completely gone away, although I was hoping to have my daughter there as well. So, it just goes to show, I think, how developed our external feeling is with other people, but how underdeveloped our own feelings are. And I think part of that is that loss of self, that we have to go back and kind of remember who we are and what we want. We don't ask ourselves a whole lot. What do we want? I think what happens, at least with the introverted intuition, or what seems to happen in my mind, is the introverted intuition comes in and it gives me this flash of insight. So I start with a conclusion. I start with, okay, this is what I want. I start with, no, not so much this is what I want, this is what I envision. I envision having this nice weekend. And then I go about logically, I think, using the TI in my own way, putting all the pieces together as to how that weekend is going to happen. And, one of the first things I had to do originally was to ask my 17-year-old daughter, would you like to do that? And the original answer was okay. Not incredible enthusiasm, but okay. And and just going from there. And then I suppose I was internally getting happier about the thought of spending time with her. And when she said, she just dismissed me completely yesterday, that she wasn't going to go. And I think what that did was it just blew up my whole picture of it all. It wasn't, even though, I think I'm upset that I spent a lot of time on it, but really it was blowing up my vision, my introverted intuition that came to me, that original flash of insight of what I wanted to do. And, I think that's where it was. So anyway, one thing I did is, I have my song playlist, which is the part of me that kind of keeps me connected to my inner self. And I know how she was feeling, that I was being controlling. And I remember when I was her age and feeling that my parents were controlling. Actually, I still feel like my parents are controlling because of their Jungian types are controlling types of people, with the inspector and the manager. So, there was 2 songs that I used to listen to when I was in college in the 80s that used to remind me of my relationship with my parents. And one of them was the Cat Stevens Father and Son song, and the other one was the Billy Joel My Life song, about keep it to yourself, it's my life. And that was the way I used to feel back then. And funny enough, I still feel now sometimes when I interact with my parents. But it's interesting how this comes full circle, and the understanding that I have of it. But also the importance of feeling, comfortable with what I want. I realize I need to ask myself when I wake up every morning, what do I want? So that myself doesn't get so lost that I have no clue, that I have no attachment to my feelings at all. It's a very strange feeling to wake up and know you're upset, but not quite know why, until we sort of work it through with I think I basically worked it through with my introverted thinking to finally come to that sort of aha, or maybe it was the introverted intuition that finally came to me. I'm not quite sure, but we're never, very often we're not necessarily upset for the things that we think we're upset about. And I think for me, the lesson with this is really to just continue with the self, continue with trying to understand my own feelings, and ask that question: what do I want? How do I feel? So anyway, that's what I just wanted to leave you with today. And love you. Have a great day. Bye.